Welcome, folks. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, and it's Slide Tuesday. Downward slide being chased by sharks and bears. So we're down today. Remember, don't risk any money you can't afford to lose. Make sure you train in the simulator before starting live trading. So our intraday PNL was down $20. We could have salvaged it, couldn't. And we slipped further. We also had made $13, but that wasn't meant to be. You can tell there we made more than we lost in the average, but we had 9 losing trades as opposed to 3 winning trades. And that's a no-no. So the one trade to ruin the day was IBG, an anagram for big loss, $115. So we're down $117. We had other tiny losses, but we paired them. And for the month, we're now down to $236. We're $70 down for the week. We still have 3 days to try to gain that back. So the first trade was a very low priced penny stock, or RIS, which had moved up from 26 to 36 and had a 10-cent move. And so we began to look at it. I saw this yesterday as well. It had room to go up to 50. But I did say that, like yesterday, the road to get there was going to be difficult. If you like our videos, like and subscribe, leave your comments, questions, whatever else you want to leave down below in the comment section. So we jumped in with 200 shares, and I think this was a FOMO moment for me because I got up early and we were in at 5:30, and we thought, why the heck not? We might have similar day to yesterday. We might find 1 or 2 value stocks in here. So let's go in with $200. We're not going to lose that much. We can always recover. And I think it was that mindset that got me in trouble the rest of the day. But so when we see that it's not moving up, we just get the heck out of Dodge. We lose almost $8 on this one. And our trend reversal there says get out. So we do. Hollow, HOLO. This one was interesting. This one had been moving up very slowly, very tiny. And that red candle right there in the middle should have been a clue not to jump in, and the fact that it was extended. But we just lost $8. We needed to get those $8 back, and I didn't expect Hollow to move up a whole lot, but it was a higher price stock, so we only jumped in with 5 shares. The fact that it was only 5 shares saved our butts here, because we also had to get out of here, and on this one we lost 95 cents, almost $1, and it wasn't meant to be. So we got 2 losing trades, and IBG kept making noise, and look at that move. But we didn't trust it. We had looked at it before, but we just didn't trust it. I didn't like the fact that it was moving straight up and it had no other basis for it, no news. But I had drawn the lines, and I thought, well, maybe it can hit that 140 cyan line that I've got up there, and that's why we got in. And the number of bids and asks is quite large in the 3 digits. This is trading like a very heavily traded stock, which had billions of shares. And it may very well have. I didn't check what the float was. And that might have been a mistake. I kept looking at my watch list there for the to see if the volume had increased, but that volume increase stayed low. So that was another mistake, trading it. I mean, if we had gotten in at 36, 38 cents, and by all means, hey, more power to you. And I've noticed that sometimes I'm moving around from one stock to another, and I sort of settle on what I think has possibilities. And there are these stocks like this, and I ignore them, and then later they start moving up. So they creep up on you. Uh, so here we're trying to sell. That's another problem I had. There was lag again this morning. Even though I had gotten filled in well on a couple of trades, when I tried to sell here, it was not letting me. Maybe it was a good thing. I don't know. But I tried to sell when I had a $14 profit, and it just didn't take. We're in this extended market. So the news was a merger. So I did have news, but I don't have any information on its float. All right. So Finviz has it under 6 million. So we were kind of stubborn to hold here, but it looked like it had potential. Again, fueled by the 3-digit bids and asks there. And it was holding about 124, 123. We'd just gotten in at 137, which is a little high, and there you see the move. And that's typical of a stock that's loading up. So we finally hit that cyan line, 140. Remember, I had drawn those lines. It goes 150. We're thinking there might be more in the gas tank here. But we opt not to trust it, and we get out. $22 win. That gives us, well, it's not a $22 win. It was a $14 win. We had already won 8. We have made $8. And then a little later, so now it's nearing 6 o'clock Pacific, and it's curling back up again, and I like that curl, cup and handle, and it looks like it's going to go back up to a higher day to 140. And so we jumped in. The MACDs look like they might curl upwards, and volume looks like it might recover. And I mean, I threw a lot of shares at this. We started with, let's see, 200, 400, 600, 830 shares. And then there's another trade later on that you'll see where I threw another 400 shares at it. So I knew that it had a potential to move up. My timing was off. And of course, I'm speaking for the whole day. And as I narrate, I share my trades with you guys, just taking you step by step of what's going on in my head at the time. So we were up 22 in the stock, and then at this point, it rejects the 1,440. And here I'm thinking maybe it'll bounce off of that blue line, the 20, and to be up at the same two lines, two EMAs. That would be great. But it was just toying with us. See the 10, the 133 tick chart starts to move up, and I was watching the MACD, sort of like, oh look, it's not going to dip as much. It's going to get back up there. So in retrospect, we were slightly green, right? We'd lost $8. We made 22, so we're a few bucks up, and then we're in this trade. And we made a choice to get in. It didn't pan out. And it was struggling. I think that should have been a clue for us to say, you know what, let's get out and leave the stock alone and wait for it as to when it had its moment. And I think this was just a matter of the type of day it was going to be. And every week that begins anew, we have to figure out what the market's doing, its behavior, and how it's going to treat us. And so when we jump into these trades, we have to be ready for it. So we had a winning Monday. We made $48, not much, but it's something. Today we lost 117, and we started off sort of okay, but then began a series of red trades, and at that point, you have to call it and you say that's it, and recoup yourself. If you want to keep trading, back away from the computer, walk away, and get your mind together again, get your focus back in, and remember, go over the things where you actually applied a strategy and used the technicals and identified uh, a moving stock that actually made you money. That's what you got to do. Because if you stay in front of the computer and you continue, it doesn't necessarily become revenge trading, but it becomes expectative trading. You're expecting that the next stock you take is going to pair whatever loss you've had. And you can't think of it that way. Each trade is an individual choice within a capsule, and it's different than the last one. So we had made a little bit of money on 2 trades with IBG. We had the setup there. It looked like a cup and handle. We were up at one point, but we didn't want to take that the money we had made because we were expecting more, and so that's where we made a mistake. Once it hit 138, 139, we should have taken the 6 cents, and it would have worked out. As a matter of fact, even here, well, it still wouldn't have been a great trade, but there wouldn't have been any loss. So here we're thinking, yeah, it fell below VWAP, but that might be like a double bottom there. And now it's obvious it's consolidating through here, moving sideways. It's not going to make big moves. 6 a.m. And that's what I was looking for. Big moves. I should also point out that I did take a couple of trades on SLE and what was that one? CPSH. And those sort of helped out with a little bit of, I think we made $15 on SLEs, a move overnight. But then we lost it again. And CPSH, I think, yeah. Well, it's down there. Let's see, $2.70 loss. So it's holding the 120, and I'm thinking, well, we're only 12 cents away. I'd give it a little bit of room. But if we go back to the trade, right? You're saying we're taking 200 shares. We're willing to lose 10 cents. We're risking 10 cents to make 20 cents, right? So we were looking for 152 is what we were looking for. And a 122 is our risk. And that's what's happened. So at that point, the trade didn't work. We got to get out. If you were risking less than 10 cents, let's say you were risking 5 cents. So at 128 would have been the exit. And at 10 cents, it would have been 142. So 138 perhaps would have been the exit move there. And that's how you got to manage your risk. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, as you're trading, the stock's moving up and down, there isn't enough time to figure all of this out. And what some folks do is they use the templates. You can trade with templates, and then the templates help you out. I haven't had good luck with templates because they often stop me out, because sometimes stocks need liquidity and they need a lot more room. And if you give them the room and the time, eventually they pick themselves back up. Here we didn't do it, so our trade loss was $34. We lost everything we had made up until then, and in addition, another $11.74. DBGI was moving, but it already had a big move, so we ignored it. We looked at BINI, and we wound up going back to IBG. And I make the quick changes there only because those stocks were showing up on the watch list, and it looked like they had news. So we take a real good look as soon as they pop, and see if it's something. Now here it begins to curl again. I decide for some weird reason to go in with 230 shares. So at this point, this was the start of revenge trading. What I'm looking at is the MACDs are starting to curl up. I'm gonna get in early. It's holding that 124, 126 area, and the volume is picking itself up. And the funny thing, it's 6:07, and when I was looking at the pattern at 6 a.m., I actually had this stock going up around 625, 630. I said this is going to go, but it's not going to go until 625, between 625 and 630. And but that was a pattern I was seeing on screen on the bar chart there. What I saw, it was dipping down below VWAP, falling a little bit, and then crawling back up again, and then possibly making it beyond 140. I didn't draw those trend lines. I should have. They would have helped. And I think what kept me tied to this stock was, again, the numbers. You see the numbers there, the triple digits in both the bids and the asks. So we got a couple more minutes here on this trade, and this one was a $29 loss. So we had lost 34. We had made 22. We lost 34, and now we're down another 29. So we lost about $80 on this trade. Not lost, but the turnover was about $80, including what we made. I mean, it still wasn't a bad day when we looked there. Uh, at this point, we were $32 down, and I think that was a misnomer. I have another window where I have the P&L for the day, and $30 to me, it seemed okay. It's a nice amount, but I think I could come back at $30 down if I find the right stock. Now, like I said, you can see there SLE with the 3 shares. I had made $15 and $1.10 on CPSH on just 5 shares in the overnight trade, and that was a new strategy I was testing. Taking a look at before the close of 5 p.m. Pacific, taking a look at what was up there, what had news, what had moved, and then just buying a few shares and trying to get caught in if there was going to be a huge squeeze at 1 a.m. Pacific, then I could catch it. However, I wasn't able to sell it. I set limit stops on it, and SLE hit $14, and I had set it for $13.55. But I guess the those types of limit sales don't work in extended hours because it didn't sell. So here we finally see it dip down below 115, and now it's time to scale out and go on our merry way. So SLE, which I mentioned, had news yesterday, and it had moved up. I think like from 6 to 10, or I had bought some, and I had made some money. I had made $13 overnight on just 3 shares. It's below BWAP, but what I was thinking is it's moving, and I think what's going to happen is that it's going to hit BWAP and it's going to reject, and it might come back down a little bit, retract, and then go back up again. And now with the losses I had taken, I wasn't going to go in with too many shares, only 5 shares, and I was only going to watch it. And sure enough, you see it there. It hit BWAP and it rejected. I thought I had time to wait here before it come back up again. But the 5 minute red bar there kept getting longer. And I think the excitement, even though it was hitting scanners, it wasn't there. So now it's 6:45 a.m. We blew past the open. I decided not to take anything within the first 15 minutes, and that's why I went in on this one. And here we're down about 48, 49. We're down about less than $40 for the day. Acceptable loss for the type of day that it is and for the trades we've been taking thus far. And our trend reversals on both the 5 minute are showing that it's going to go up. However, it's already gone quite a bit up on the 5 minute. And on the 1 minute, it's showing a reversal. But of course, it's VWAP. And here our trend reversal indicator says we're going down. And we see the MACD starting to point downwards and volume becoming red. And so we say, you know what, we're not going to take a chance on this one. So we just let it go. This turns out to be a $4.59 loss, $5 loss. We're still within the winning. And IBG again. Uh, this time, this is what brought us down today. We took 200 shares and hit right into the halt. And I mentioned it twice. I think once last week, once again yesterday, that I don't like halts. And there was no time to sell. There was nothing I could do. And this time, I thought that it actually would go up to 130. So I didn't sell. I didn't put a sell stop. And what happens next was the disaster of the day. Um, at this point, it was looking like it was going to reopen uh, at 130, and I thought, oh, that's great. I'm just going to wait and add more. And as we're waiting, uh, the other stocks, the watch list do not show uh, any runaway stock there. And here it comes. It looks like it's going up, but but doesn't. And that should have been a clue right there. Get out. But being the stubborn gorilla that I am, seeing it here, and I go in market because I don't want to be stalled. I don't want to miss it. And I mean, there's a decent win up there, but it's a double top, and that would have been the way to get out. But we thought it had opportunity. But as you can see there, and the bids, look at that, halts down. So we get caught in the halt down, and we're trashed. And there's no way this is going to recover itself. It's going to hold roughly at the $1 mark, but we bought in at 123 for 400 shares. So it's a huge risk. And now I'm realizing that everything is falling off. I quickly look over at SLE. I'm still holding 100 shares of SLE, and I'm letting it go. And I'm trying to think that this maybe might pick up. And I'm thinking, well, it'd be nice if it gets back up to 110. But the damage is done. And I'm still looking at SLE on the watch list. It's hitting about 1029, 1030. So I'm confident that SLE is going to pick up and make me some money. And I'm hoping that this will get back up. And it doesn't. So I start scaling out, and eventually just flatten out. 157 down on the day on that stock. But we go back to SLE. And we made a little bit of money on SLE, I think. No, we lost. $3.68. But we get back, and now it's 6:56. About 10 minutes later, it's moved. Remember how I said it? We thought it hit BWAP and it reject, and then go back up a second time. Well, that's what it does. And here now we're lower on cash, but we see an opportunity, and with nothing else moving, and with IBG having plunged down to the depths of red hell, we're going to stick with SLE. Now we got a good entry here, 975, and it's just above BWAP, and it's holding. And once we see it hit 1030, back again, there's an opportunity here. I'm looking at the 5-minute, and it looks like it's going to go past that 1050 mark. And I'm seeing confidence in the folks that are trying to sell at 1094, 1099, and 11. So we're going to continue to hold. It's a good dip here. If I had more cash, I would have loaded there more. Oh, we did. We added another 50. So that refactored us down to $10. I was looking, why am I losing when we were in at 975? But I guess we bought high. We should have waited and filled in here again, waiting for this slight pullback. And at this point, the damage is done. We're down 108, 110 bucks on the day, 113. So the only thing we have to watch is that we don't lose $200, $300 like we did earlier in the month. And we have a cushion on the month where we were up 355 as of yesterday. So, and if this is going to be our next red day for the week and for the month, then we might as well take chances and take it now. We still got 3 days left in the week that we can try to recover, and we've got 2 days next week. And even if it's small wins, or even if we don't trade the rest of the month, we wind up with a winning month, and we double what we made last month in August. So in August we made $122. We're up 236 for September. So if we stop trading the rest of the month, I'd be happy. Sorry about the black screen. So at this point, I'm feeling confident. You see, folks, there are 15 people, or 15 times 10, which is 150, set to 1102 cells. And so if folks are thinking that this is going to hit 11, I'm on the wagon. I'm there. And of course, this big red old bar makes you think twice. But it needed liquidity, and it needed to go back. It needed to trap the bears. And I thought about selling, but I still have confidence in that it'll hit 11. not only was I confident that it was going to hit 11 at this point, but I'm thinking they might have an opportunity to go into 13 and even 14, which is that magenta line up there at the top. And I'm thinking, well, if it hits the magenta line up there, we've recovered everything that we've lost. So it's a good thing. So today could have been a $200 loss if it wasn't for this trade here. As you'll see in a couple of minutes, it starts to pick up. It's 7:02, top of the hour. Uh, People begin to jump in. Our trend reversal says sell. But in this case, I felt that there's so much movement, so much volume, and nothing else is moving, that the opportunity was there for folks who wanted to jump in. Now, you'll notice there my lack of confidence as I canceled that sell up at 11, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to sell stuff. And what's leading me down there is the super trend is pointing downwards, and the Zurich MACD starts to turn purple, which is in the negative. But all of a sudden, look at here. Our MACD signal line, the blue line, is flailing up, and it's above the signal line. So all of a sudden, we're back in the green. And the trend reversal indicator there is just a suggestion. It's just giving you a pattern, and it sees those red bars as possibility of it going down. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. What I've discovered is that about 98% of the time it's right, but it can also make mistakes, or the stock market just refuses to accept that pattern, and it continues to move up. And that was the case here. Nothing else was moving, even though this is a little higher priced. We're still under $10 when we started. And at double digits, it attracts a different clientele, as it were. So folks who typically trade between 10 and 20 or 10 and 30 might see it as an opportunity to make some money as they see it climb into their scanners. If those folks don't trade stocks below $10, you could say this stock has now moved into new real estate area of buyers, and it's also above BWAP. So it had positives going, and I like that big old doji up there, a bull doji, whatever it's called, on the 5 minute. And here we go. Finally, the volume starts to kick in a little bit more. Now we're down about 100 and what 64, 160, 170, and we're up here at 30 on this one. So we reduced our loss to about 140. And so my confidence is back up there again. And you notice that I chose 11.05 to scale out. That would have been $102 for 100 shares. And now the possibility is there. Now we're really doing well. and we're pairing our losses. So we're still at 1050. If I had had more cash, I would have added here. So the thing to do would have been to wait until this happened and then move into SLE and forget all the other trades. But hindsight is 2020. I think tomorrow that's what I may do. I might just wait. Look at that. We're at 1092, and I moved the other sell over to $12. I'm thinking that there's a possibility, but I think it was too exhaustive. So in all, if we take away the $115 loss off of the uh, halt, we lost about almost $100, but we made about $99. So if you remove that one trade, we're down $1.49 for today if we don't get caught in that halt. But the point is, we did get caught in the halt, and the good thing is that SLE here picked up and helped us out, and we paired $100 worth of losses, and this wasn't a $200 day. And we just yesterday went over $3,000 on the account. Now we're back down under it slightly, but we're no longer trading with just 2K. And I'm trying to think whether I should pull 500 out so that we're back down to about, I want to be around 22 to 2,500 to make sure it's a truthful, real raw account. I don't trade with margin like those other folks that say they're going to trade with a 2K account and then ask for 6 times margin, and they basically have $12,000 to trade with. That's not me. So I was thinking, do I change it to trading with a small 3K account, or do I reserve some of the money away and go back to 2K? So I haven't made that decision there. I think I'll wait until after September. So here it's exhausted. At this point, we know it's not going to hit 12, so we're going to cancel. We're going to give it a little bit more room, but it doesn't look like traders are going to kick this up. And I think that was a $30 loss there, because we were up like what, 112, and when we finally sell out, we only make $67. But that's what happens. You start out losing, you start out with red trades, and then you try to recover, and then you forget about what you've been doing, trying to get off at the top, and you're hoping for more because you're trying to recover. And revenge trading. We were lucky enough to have enough cash and to catch the moment that this stock was moving up and pair $100 worth of losses. So I'm happy with that. And it's now 7-11. So the reversal trend indicator lights up and it's time to go. So we wind up with $78. good enough, and it sure enough is purple. Now, for some reason, I look over at my account window and I see $200, $240 still left in settled funds. And SLNH is one stock that has been moving up very slowly. And I go ahead and jump in with 200 shares. Um, Thinking that, hey, you know what? Maybe I make 25 bucks here. But this is a slow grinder, and it didn't look like it. Again, I like the fact that it was that far from the VWAP. And at this point, I'm not thinking that it's going to go through VWAP and up to 301 and up to my cyan line, to my magenta line up there. I'm just thinking if it gets close to about maybe 270, close to VWAP, then I'll get out. So I'm looking for a 20-cent win on 200 shares. And our trend reversal says, hey, it's reversing, it's moving up. And since it's after 7, I'm thinking, well, stranger things have happened. And after I get out of this trade, I look at my account info and I realize that I overtraded. I went over my settled funds and I really didn't have $200 extra to play with. So in my head, I was thinking that this is a $100 stock, and I bought 200 and I had $200 left. When in reality, it was 250, and it was cost twice that much. So I had to send another $250. And for the month of September, I've sent about $500 because I've overtraded, and I think that's what's kicked up the account to over $3,000. And that's one of the reasons that I'm thinking of bringing it back down, pulling 500. But I haven't decided that yet. I might just leave it in there and just go with a 3K account and change the title that I'm trading with a 3K account. Um, One of the things that we saw last week was stocks moving up at New York, at Eastern market open, which is 1 a.m. my time. And I cannot buy stocks at 1 a.m. Pacific. Think or Swim doesn't kick in until 4 a.m. Pacific, which is 7 a.m. Um, Eastern. So I'm thinking that I might take those $500 out and put them into Webull and see if it's possible. I think Webull allows you to trade at 1 a.m. I have to test it. I think I'm going to open an account, which is $50, and see if I can actually trade. Wake up one day at 1 a.m. and see if I can trade. Because there are typically one or two stocks that really move up between that 1 a.m. open and 2 to 3 a.m. Pacific time. And when those stocks move up, they go up 6, 8, $10. So I'm thinking, well, I can take a really small $500 account and just take a few shares and ride those squeezes up, and I can grow a little bit of make a little bit of money on that account, and then get back to Thinkorswim and then trade here. And but we'll see. One of the dangers of riding those stocks in the very early open is, of course, you'll jump in and it goes straight up, and it also comes straight back down, and so you can lose money that way. I mean, you guys follow most of the YouTube traders. You can go to any one of them and look through their videos, and you'll find one or two or three at least that have fallen victims to halts like I did today, or victims to stocks that They show up in the scanner. It looks exciting. It starts going up. They jump in. They, for whatever reason, they might do it with a higher number of shares than they normally would, and then the stock plummets down, and next thing you know, they're down 400, 500, or even more. So on this trade, we lost $8.72. We wind up the day at $117.38 down. Um, in my view, um, it could have been a lot worse. It's the cost of doing business. And Paul's speech today wasn't energetic, wasn't confident. I think it went against that. The market had a slight pullback. Some folks are saying 10, 15% pullback on the market, perhaps to happen this week. We'll have to wait and see. We have to stick with the small caps and look for opportunities. So what we have to do is be uh, more diligent about our strategies, our discipline, and pick our stocks and our timing a little better. If it's not, stocks will go up and they'll come down without us, whether we're in it or not. If you just turn on the computer and watch the stocks and don't trade, you will see stocks go up and down. And it's actually good practice to do that because you want to train yourself to lose that FOMO, the fear of missing out. So if you sit just one session of the market and start a little bit on pre-market and let it go, but do not trade. Just watch the stocks as if you were trading. Click from one to another, listen to the alerts, look at your watch list, your gap up list, and click on it and say, that's where I would have entered. That's where I would have exited. And just continue to watch. You'll come across at least 1 to 3 stocks that are moving, and you'll think, oh, no, I should have gone in. That could have been me. And that's the fear of missing out. So you want to get rid of that. And the way to do that is just to watch it and not care. Oh, that stock moved up $5. Oh, that's great for those who were in it. I'm not interested. I wasn't going to trade today. And you begin to train and your emotions, constrain your emotions to the point where the next time you go to trade, you have a little bit more discipline. And if it doesn't happen in one day for you, then you might have to do it multiple days. You don't have to do it multiple days in a row. You can do it one day a week. Look at your reports. Look at the days that you trade the worst. Let's say, if I find out that Thursday is my worst day, then Thursday I don't want to trade. I'm just going to sit in front of the computer and I'm going to watch. And I say watch because in real time is different than simulator. You could trade simulator, but that's not going to help your discipline. Trading, looking at the stock market and looking at stocks go up without you and not caring, it really helps your mind to be a little bit more disciplined, because the next time you go back in there, oh, well, somebody else is making $5. Somebody else made $250,000. It's not about you. That's about them. So hopefully that helps you guys. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments, questions below. Subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing to hit a like, and hit the bell if you want to be notified of future videos. Other than that, if you had a positive day, congratulations to you. If you didn't, get back on the horse tomorrow. I'll figure out what you need to do, and have a wonderful rest of the day.